Spaces Architects at KA is an award-winning architectural firm based in New Delhi that curates spaces guided by users and context and enhanced by an intangible sense of emotions, power, and playfulness. For years, the firm has successfully created architecture that responds to unique needs throughout the design process, which from the start was the founder's mission to shaping an aesthetically inspired built environment through communication. Now we are joined by Kapil Aggarwal, the founder and principal architect of Spaces Architects at KA, to chat about embracing the intangibles in architecture. So thank you so much for joining us, Kapil.
Thanks, Rena. Thanks a lot for inviting me for this wonderful session.
The pleasure is ours. So will you first tell us about your background and about the firm?
Yeah, so we started the firm, previously it was Spaces Architect. We started in 2000, uh, close to 2000 month of May and June. So it's been now close to 24 years we've been practicing. So Spaces Architects KA was formed in 2013. So the journey has been in for close to 10 years now in Spaces Architects case. So my experience in terms of practice is almost close to 24 years now.
That's amazing. We're curious about how would you approach a design, or like if you have to put it into words, what are your design approach?
So normally, Karina, how it happens that for us, any project which we take as a design firm, we are not just concentrated on particular field. So our design varies from taking up like designing a furniture or a light to institutional buildings. So we do a huge range of different kind of projects. So for us to take up a project, it is very important that it should be something very interesting and challenging for us. It should be like creating something which we haven't done before. So even if we're doing a house and the house basically has the same dimensions or the parameter, but we always looking into clients or the projects which actually gives us a different insight about creating different spaces. So for us to take up any project, we think that for us the challenge is very important to create, to learn in that process also is to if we do something very differently, which is actually very when we haven't even heard of it. So we intend to take up projects like that. In the process, I grow, my team also grow, and we are able to create something different. So that is the whole approach of our design practice, not concentrated on something which we've done it before, and explore into new opportunities, new design, styles. We can say the technologies. So that's how it is.
That's very commendable. Yeah, I think we said in an intro that you make spaces that is based on the users and the context. So it's like a true testament to that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what I also find very admirable is how in the designs you make sure that senses like emotions and power are enhanced through the spatial experience. So I'm curious about in what ways do you ensure that your designs generate emotional response from the users, as well as fostering a deeper connection to a specific topic like sustainability, for example.
So, how it happens, like, for example, we take up a project of a school. Like, if there's a kindergarten school which we are supposed to design, or we've designed it in our past, for us to understand the psychology, we have to think like a small child, how a 5-year-old child is going to behave in the space, or for example, we talk about the house if we're designing for, a nuclear family. So we go into understanding how the, the husband is behaving, how the wife wants her house to be, and how the kids want to use the space. So in terms of the user, it becomes very different for each project. So we spend a lot of time into understanding who our user are. and then try to get into the skin of that user and start thinking from their point of view. And that's how the spaces are designed. So each space, I think, it becomes very different, right? It's more of about the user, and then incorporating our concept about the living, good spaces, and put all of them together and create a space.
Very nice. So, in your opinion, why is communication important in shaping a sustainably built environment?
I think communication very important is when you're talking about a space and when you understand from the client his and her requirement. The sustainability, when we are making any project, it's very important to look into that project is how long it's gonna survive. Because for me, I think the building itself is a living object. Okay. Now that living object also behaves like humans only. The sustainability for a human, how it works also works for the building. The more it's sustainable, the more the project gonna live longer. So my thinking process is very different in terms of taking up a project where I would prefer to use local materials which are available around, and also for me, my project, for example, a small example where I give a lot of importance to natural light in my projects. So we take care of a lot of things when we just look at one object as a sunlight, which becomes an important part into the house. So thus the sustainability starts from that point when we start incorporating the nature into our buildings, and from there onwards we're looking at the materials, we're looking at the requirements of the client is in terms of how they're going to use that space, from being it electricity, being water, being the furniture. So all of them have to come together and make a sustainable project.
It's really nice. Do you want to share with us about one of your projects and about their design goals initially and the resulting impact on the people and surroundings?
So, I think couple of projects which I'm going to talk about. One is definitely the Havelis of Old Delhi, very close to my heart. Delhi is basically divided into two parts. One which was formed close to 400 years back, by Shah Jahan, who built Taj Mahal. So he shifted his capital to Delhi 400 years back, and then he built, very monumental buildings in that part of Delhi. So this part of Delhi had Havelis. Now these Havelis are 200, 300 years old, where all these merchants used to stay. The big rich people used to stay in these Havelis. Over the years, what has happened that they've deteriorated. That place has becoming like, for example, when you talk about Old Delhi, it has a density of 35,000 people per square kilometer, which is actually, if you talk about, it is something very equivalent to a middle-sized American city compressed into the double size of Central Park. So that dense it has become over the years, and these Havelis have deteriorated over the years. So we have close to 1,000 documented Havelis in Old Delhi, which there's either the people have left that or there are multiple tenants staying there and they've deteriorated. The government also not taking any initiative to restore them. So we took up this project in 2010 with this Haveli Dharampura. This Haveli was almost kind of deteriorated. It was to be brought down. It was in that bad state. And from there, we worked for 6 years into restoring that Haveli, and when we talk about the sustainability, I think it also plays a very important role is to just bring down the old structures, but also to restore them. Sustainability also plays a very important role that, it's very easy to bring down the building, but how do you restore those structures back to their original shape? And there is this you giving back to the society, and we're giving back the history also, telling the young generation that this is how you can adaptive use up an old property and bring the life back. Now, what has happened in 2016 when we completed this project? It it created that buzz in that societies about the Havelis. The people started knowing about that, the Havelis exist. Not only from Delhi, but all over the world, people have started visiting Old Delhi, primarily because seeing the Red Fort and then Jama Masjid and also the Havelis now. So, and our footfall has increased tremendously coming every year and year. It's increasing. It's the first project in Delhi which has won a UNESCO Heritage Award. So we were very proud for this, the initiative about, giving back to the society in a sustainable way also, and also setting an example about, respecting our history. The second thing is we're doing another project in Old Delhi, which is a 4.86-acre land just opposite to Red Fort. It's a heritage park. So phase one has been completed 2 years back, which is close to 2 acre. Now, when we talk about the communities, this Hindu and Muslim community staying in Old Delhi, they don't have any place where the kids can play. There's no organized parks around, where the community can come together, they can hold cultural events. So all these things are missing. So now when we create a park like this, we actually connect to our past. We start having cultural events there. The kids start playing around. So all these things start making up, a change in the society. So I think as an architect, it becomes very important that, one practice is for the private clients, and one is what we're giving back to the society. So that is also very important.
That's really nice. So, how do you incorporate forward-thinking strategies to ensure that your designs remain adaptable and relevant in this rapidly evolving environment?
So, Karina, I think I look at these things, I'm going to answer in two different ways. One is definitely, the technology. With fast changing, process happening in architecture. There's something new happening every day. For example, we talk about artificial intelligence. That is one part of, the design is becoming faster. The concepts are more easy for the clients to understand. The second, I think, is more important, which I think a lot of architects miss out, is about the quality of space, about the user experience. I think for there, we need to put in more effort into making it a timeless space. So, like looking at both the platform, bringing them together. One is the technology, is how we can actually make design better. We can make it faster. For example, a project which is taking 2 years to be made. Now that becomes because of the issues with the architect understanding the process, or the client not understanding the design, or the third party is going to make it, so that the technology is going to bring everyone together and make the decision faster, and make the technology, using the technology, we make the project faster. So to 2 years, the project taking, if we could make it in 6 months, we save on the time and the cost, everything. So client's happy, the architect happy, the contractors are happy. So this is one part of the technology, all the parameters come there. The second is the better user experience of the space. That is, I think, is combining both these together and bringing them together. That's going to enhance and make it, we can take architecture way ahead.
Yeah, think of a better way to end. All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Yeah.